All right, this video is about identifying solid figures. Solid figures, three-dimensional objects. And the thing that I hate the most about this is that I can't draw, so a lot of our drawings are going to be really terrible. But I do have a couple of things to help us work out with this, so it's going to be fine. Now, when it comes to identifying solid figures, there's two main categories, and then there's spheres, right? Like a ball. So the first big category, so we have two main categories, right? The first category that we want to take a look at are what are called prisms or cylinders. The second category we have are pyramids or cones. Okay, so prisms and cylinders, pyramids and cones. Those are the two big categories. A prism or a cylinder. So a prism has, let's call it two identical bases, and it's solid in between, okay? A pyramid has one base and the sides go to a point, stretch to a point, they go to a point, they converge. If I could write today. At one point, okay? So I'm sure you know what these are. You've been dealing with these for a long, long time, but what I want to do is I want to take a look at some of these solids, and ta-da, here I am, shock. And then I want to go over like the different naming conventions of them. So let's see. The first one, let's take a look at this guy here. Right here, we have a triangle, right? So we have a triangle on one side, a triangle on the other, and then it's solid in between, right? So we have this base, this yellow base, and the other identical base. So it has two identical bases, and then it's solid in the middle, right? So this would be what's called a triangular prism, because the base itself is triangular. It's a triangle, right? So this is our friend triangular prism, okay? Let's see, what do we have? Ooh, we have another triangle, but on the other side of this guy, it goes to a point. All the sides converge to one point. So this would be a triangular pyramid, right? So we have a triangular pyramid. And you're probably going, well, that's what they have in Egypt. This is not what they have in Egypt. That's a triangle. In Egypt, they have a square pyramid, right? So the pyramids in Egypt all have a square base, right? So this would be called a square pyramid or a rectangular pyramid. So if this wasn't like a perfect square, let's say it was like cut in half like that, right? Or even just a little bit, a rectangular pyramid. So whatever the base is, and it all converges to a point, it would be called a pyramid. Okay, cool, neat. Let's see, what else do we have? What do we have? Oh, we have a square prism. There's a fancy word for a square prism, right? A square prism is called a cube, but yeah, so it's a square prism. What else we got? Ooh, here we go. Is it a rectangular prism or a rectangular pyramid? Prism. Yeah, because it has the same side, identical bases, two identical bases, right? And it's connected solid on all sides, right? So this is called a rectangular rectangular prism. Okay, rectangular prism. And finally, my 4-year-old son looked at this and he said, "Dad, that is a cylinder because the top and the bottom both have the same base. Identical base, right? So this is going to be a cylinder because it's a circle. When the base is a circle, it is not called a circular prism. No, it's called a cylinder, right? Cylinder. Fill it up with stuff. I guess you have. Cool. One more. Oh, this is a cone, right? You got a circle on the bottom, meets at a point. This is called a cone. Right? So we have the cone, all the different shapes. Hopefully you got a better idea of what they are. Now, let's look at the way we name them. Woo! Okay. The names of these solid figures. So if let's take a look at the base, different types of bases, right? If it's a prism or if it's a pyramid, right? So if the base is a triangle, then we would call it a triangular prism. If the base is a triangle and all the sides meet it converge at one point, then we would call that a triangular pyramid. All right, no big deal. What if the base is a square? We would call the square prism a square prism. In a very particular instance, we would call it a cube. Cube. Or we could call it a square pyramid. If the base is a rectangle, we would call it a rectangular prism or a rectangular pyramid. If the base is this one's good. What if the base is a trapezoid? That's crazy talk. We would have a trapezoidal prism or trapezoidal pyramid. That one's cool. A trapezoidal pyramid? Ah, that would be so cool. We're not going to study any of these. But we will look at trapezoidal prisms. Those have some really neat properties. We could also look at like Pentagon. Pentagon would be pentagonal prism or pentagonal pyramid. There's something like hexagonal, heptagonal, octagonal, all of those. You just put an AL on the end of the word. Now, what if the base is a circle? It's not called a circular prism, it's called a cylinder. And it's not called a circular pyramid, it's called a cone.